Everybody, I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. I'm out here on our property today and I am setting a spot where I want a water spigot to go. It's going to be one of those frost-free water spigots. And the reason I'm setting it now, see, we don't have the house up yet, it'll go over here. But I want to have a spot where the garden's going to be. And the garden's going to be over in this general area. But I want to go ahead and plan ahead so that I have the water line coming up and I have a spigot close to the garden area that I can use at any time for irrigation. As we all know, this summer's been extremely dry, so we got to prepare for the worst and hope for the best, hope for perfect rain showers, but that doesn't ever happen. So anyway, that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to set a post in the ground where I want the builder to put in a frost-free water spigot. It's the type of spigot that when you turn it off, the water goes back down through and then goes back into the ground so that it's not going to get frozen inside of it during cold temperatures. That's the kind of spigot you want to have if you're going to have one outside. Anyway, we've got that going on, and then I need to set another one where I'm going to have it diverge because our water line is going to have to go from that side of the driveway over here, and it's going to have to come up and around and over to there. And you may not be able to see it, but on this side of the truck there are a couple of posts in the ground, and that's going to be where the house actually is going to sit. So that water line is going to have to go over there, but it's going to have a branch off in order to do this spigot. And the builder is going to actually need to use that spigot also for doing mortar and just general building type stuff. We're going to do brick on the house, and they're going to need that to mix all that mortar and concrete and cement and everything that they've got to use to make this house. They're going to need some water for. So that's one of the first steps that we are doing on the land, is to actually get the water line up the hill. The big challenge with all this is down this road here, that takes us to the main street. 973 feet is that direction there, and then we're not even talking about the extra distance it is to get to here. So that is a really long stretch for a water line to go. In fact, it's going to be a 2-inch water line connected to a 5¼ inch meter down at the street. They should have already set the meter, so I'm going to go check on that too after I get this post set. So I'm just using one of these U-posts that I use for a lot of the garden stuff. At the top of the post, I'm going to spray paint it blue so they know that that's where the water spigot needs to go. But as you can see, that's where the garden is intended to go, kind of in this area. Just very general on it. I think the soils are okay here. We've got a ton of rock, so I am pretty sure I'm going to be building mostly raised beds for the vegetable garden. There we go. So there's a blue post signifying water. Don't think anybody's going to miss that. We'll get the back side just to make it all pretty and everything. Not bad. On to the next thing. And to match that, I just saw an indigo bunting a second ago. I wish I could get on video, but unfortunately it flew off too quickly. I was going to try to hammer in another stake here so it would be parallel, because what we're going to have to do is run under the driveway and go from that post over to this side where the water line is coming up, because the meter is actually on this side of the driveway. So the meter will come up here, connect to this, and then we're going to have to do a T-post or a T-line coming off of that going to that for the water spigot, and then the rest of the line will go on up over toward where the house will eventually be. This is kind of neat to see. This is Achillea millefolium, just growing wild, and it's already gone to seed. So what I'm going to probably do is take some of this and sprinkle it around in a few places and get it going. It is excellent for pollinators and wildlife to enjoy. So it's really cool to have on the property, especially when you've got somebody who's having bees on your property like we do way up there. So obviously, building a house, utilities are extremely important. And so what we're going to have here is an electric pole going right there, and then it will go underground over toward where the house is. That's a persimmon tree right there we're hoping to leave and not touch. And then right over there would be where it'd connect on the back side of where the garage is going to be. But in order to do that, I've got to come through and cut that section of trees right there to connect to another pole that's on the other side of those trees. So I've got a bit of work to do on just some regular old chainsaw type stuff. Here is a baby persimmon tree. Now, one thing about persimmons is they are either male or female. They're not both. they don't have perfect flowers. So you've got to have one of each kind in order to actually get some sort of fruit, which we're fortunate because I know we've got at least 2 females on the property, and they're creating all these offspring here. So we'll probably be digging them up every now and then for more persimmon trees. And of course, I've left lots of milkweed to just kind of grow on its own, produce its own seeds, and hopefully provide habitat for monarch butterflies and other things. So you can see there that that is a common milkweed, is what it's actually called. There's quite a bit more. Now, milkweed is a very fragrant flower, so it's nice to actually have in the garden somewhere. Farmers don't love it because the sap can be irritating and perhaps even poisonous to cattle and grazing animals. You can see here I already did a little bit of some tree cutting, just some little stuff that was in and around things. I'm going to just gradually do it until we actually have to have the electric, which probably be about a month. So I'm going to have to come out here and have a pretty good work day in clearing out a lot of this stuff through here. But fortunately, most of it are smaller sized trees, nothing that I shouldn't be able to handle by myself. This is one of the many features of our property that I love in a way, but is going to cost us some money. We have rock nearly everywhere. So I'm hoping a lot of it is just easily dug and moved, but there's a good chance that some of it will have to be jackhammered out, especially for the foundation of the house. I mentioned the persimmons a minute ago. It looks like we're getting a lot of some persimmon drop. It's very early for that. Usually this will be fall, and these will be a bit larger and they'll be orange. So this may not be a good year for persimmons. We've had a ton of dry weather, and we really need it to rain something so we can actually get something out of the harvest. So now we're walking down to the waterline area, down to the street, where you can kind of see our driveway a little bit. Some things we're going to have to do over here. We got to check the culvert and make sure it's going to work out, and then check for the water line. There we go. That's our brand new 5/8 inch water meter that we can hook up to right there. And then we're going to have to find a way to get that water line up through the hill. So I hope you enjoyed this little update on our home build, where we are right now. We're getting started. We've actually got the construction loan in place. We just have to start getting the building permit in, getting the water line in, before we can actually start doing foundation and all that fun stuff where you actually see the building start to build. So I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.